Hi class, this is a continuation of our scale videos. I'm going to start off with a little etude on page 39, 5th position etude in F. So sometimes, again, that was 5th position etude in F on page 39. Sometimes your book will not give you a fingering of the scale that you've already had in another position. That's the same scale as we played in the key of D with my pinky on the root. Key of E, key of F. So at this point, you should be seeing a lot of repetition of these fingerings as we're going up the fretboard. And we're going to need a few more scales to get through Unit 3. We have Drink to Me Only with Thine Eyes in F, which was the scale I was just playing. We have Turkey in the Straw, I believe, which uses a C scale. And that's still in 5th position. And then we have a Home on the Range, which uses the C scale up in the 7th position. So just want to, again, kind of address a couple of these scales or positions that the book talks about going forward. There's a B flat scale that's given on page 47. And I'll play that one for you, again, just to kind of illustrate what's happening here. We learned a G scale on the 6th string root and an A scale, G scale in 2nd position, A scale in 4th position. So now we're learning a B flat scale in 5th position with the middle finger, 3, 4. I have B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. And of course I can reach that C up there. B flat, A, G, F, E flat, D, C, B flat, A, G, F, F, E flat, D, C, and B flat. So that's page 47, but again, it's a repeated fingering that I could do anywhere on the 6th string. So those 1-octave scales, 2-octave scales should start to become familiar now more and more as you're playing them. So that was B flat on page 47. And then if we go ahead to 49, that's where the Turkey in the Straw piece is, and that is in C major, still in 5th position. I'll do another video demonstrating that. We have page 56, which is moving us finally up to the 7th position. So before I play that, again, just a word about some of the scales here in 5th position. If I started with my pinky, I could play a C major scale, which we did for Home on the Range. If I started with my middle finger, I'd have B flat. If I had the F scale that I started the piece, the video with, the little etude, I'd have F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, and I can reach up to the C, B flat, A, G, F, E, D, C, B flat, A, G, F, E, D, C, B flat, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F. The exact same full position fingering as the D scale was in the 2nd position. So I played that on F, 5th string root. I also have an E flat scale here, which would be the same as the 2nd position fingering. So again, we're starting to see a lot of repetition of these fingerings as I move from position to position. If I was to play the introduction of the D scale that they give here, it is index finger on D. It's very similar to, it's exactly the same as playing the C scale we did at the 5th fret. So now I've got D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, and D. Now it follows that it would be the same root string as the C scale I played in the 5th position, or the A scale, or the B flat scale. So if I play that entire scale now, I'll start with my pinky on the D. D, E, F with 3rd, G with 4th, A, index, B, C sharp, I'll move out of position, back to position to D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Exactly the same as the A scale we played in 2nd position, or the C scale we played, as well as B flat and some others. A reminder, too, from one of the other videos that this is also a B minor scale. If this D is the root, there's the 7th scale degree. There is the home of the minor scale. B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. So that D scale is the same as the B flat. And if we take this up a little further in the book, we can find some 7th position introduction of the full position here, where I'd have B, C, C sharp, D. This is page 63, by the way. B, C, C sharp, D, E, F, F sharp, G, A sharp or B flat, B, C. There's another C. I'm sorry, D. There's D. We don't have a C sharp unless we move up. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B, C, C sharp, D. They give you the whole chromatic scale there, all the half steps, with the exception of a few notes that just don't fit into the position. And again, what keys would be playable here? Things like D major. So starting on my 4th finger, again on the 6th string root, I get D, E, F, sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D. And if I went down from there, C sharp, B, C sharp, D. And home on the range would be using the C scale that's in this position. So I've got my middle finger on the C at the 8th fret. See, we're overlapping that 5th string fingering, which started with my pinky. Now I have middle finger on C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And of course I could reach the D there. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Same fingering. So again, it's just as important that you get these fingerings under your fingers so it doesn't feel foreign when you move them to another place. And you'll also have to get used to physically how the guitar feels under different fret sizes or spacings and tension of string, because the tension in the middle of the fretboard is going to feel a little different than it does down here or way up top. But that fingering itself, one of the beauties of playing the guitar as far as a musician is the fingerings, once I memorize them, will automatically give me the right notes in the key. So again, by learning this G scale down here, even if I didn't know there were 3 sharps in the key of A, when I play this and try to name the notes off of the A on the 6th string, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, I'm going to automatically get those correct notes. That helps when you're sight reading off of a page and you're trying to plug in a key, but also very much when I'm trying to solo or improvise over different keys. And doesn't matter whether it's a major or minor scale, if I'm playing the right pattern, I'm going to have all the right notes. Now it's up to me to know where some of the targets are. And when I say a target, when you're improvising or writing a melody, you often want to hit a particular note at a particular time. If I'm playing an A chord, I want to hit the root note, or maybe the 3rd of the chord or the 5th of the chord, and resolve on one of those notes. So it's an important thing to think about. So just again, to go back to the 7th position, I have scales like D on the 6th string root or B minor. Very common keys for guitar. Key of G, again, very common for the guitar. And if I went down, a minor 3rd is the key of E minor. So I can use my fingering I learned, the first fingering I learned in this class, the D fingering, way up here now, as a G scale or an E minor scale. I also have the C scale from my middle finger, or F scale. Again, these aren't the only scales we can play off of these strings, but they are the most common and the easiest. This is, when I say easiest, I mean they're the most comfortable, or they fit the most comfortably in these positions. You can also come up with alternative fingerings or shifting fingerings again, but that is something to address in another video. So I just wanted to show you a couple of the scales that are going to be used in the pieces. We've got the F scale, we've got 5th position F scale, 5th position C scale, there's a B flat scale in 5th position, and also a E flat scale in 5th position. And then when I move to 7th position, I've got D scale, G scale, C scale, and F scale. So work with those, get used to the positions, and practice naming the notes when you play them. Practice rhythmic variety like we talked about too, to get you used to hearing different rhythms and playing different rhythms with your picking hand and coordination with your fretting hand. Have a great day. We're going to end it there, and we'll see you next time.